WTF is Retail, presented by Excellent Zephyr.
Yeah. So I guess the question you get a lot is boxed wine is usually, or in the past was associated as quite cheap wine. I know, and I will admit, when I was a youth, I would drink boxed wine in the park. And
18 years old, obviously.
yes, fully legal of age. And, that's what I used to do. How, was it a big branding challenge to kind of change that perception? Did you need to educate people about, what boxed wine is and the benefits of it and stuff like that?
So I wouldn't like to age you, but it's likely that when you were 18 or plus drinking this wine, so they used to line the boxes. So if you've got a box of wine, inside you've got a bag, essentially. It's bag in box is the sort of technical name for the format. And that bag used to be lined with aluminium. And the reason that you do that is because wine, the enemy of wine in this context is oxygen. So you want to make sure that no oxygen is reaching the wine inside, so that it will stay delicious for however long it's sitting on the shelf. So with aluminium, it used to kind of crack, and it meant that the wine would oxidize very quickly. So you would only put like cheap wine into a box because you just didn't want to risk it, your good wine turning to vinegar. That all changed about 5 years ago, possibly slightly longer now. So there's a new material, I won't get too geeky about it, there's this new material that basically does the same job, but it's completely malleable. So it's now possible to put amazing wine into a box. You're confident it's not going to oxidize. So like you say, now it's really about kind of educating people and helping them to realize that actually boxed wine for everyday drinking wine doesn't have to mean cheap plonk. It can be something really delicious that you can be proud to serve.
I actually never knew that.
Yeah.
The wine I had tasted like vinegar on the first glass, so it must have been oxidizing for a long time.
I guess the good thing though that you guys have done is changed. Well, you've got this new material, but also the branding on the outside, which we may get to later in the podcast. But it now looks way classier. Like we've got for the watchers a box in front of us, and you can see this is not just a plain box, right?
Yeah.
So I guess you can use that to your advantage, shall we say, in the branding process, and that's your background.
100%. So, I mean, if you go into a supermarket today, which is probably where you're most likely to go and pick up a boxed wine, and you look at the shelf, often it would be, a kind of sun setting over a vineyard stock photo or something. It sort of doesn't communicate quality. And actually with Laylo, what we wanted to do was say, do you know what? This isn't the same as boxed wines that people have tried before. So why should we make it conform to kind of like tropes of the normal packaging? So instead we use all 5 visible faces that we've got to kind of tell the story of the wine, the winemaker. They're all completely different. And for it to be like a conversation starter, not just a kind of poor excuse for a bottle.
Okay, and to use it as a conversation starter, what is the thinking behind this box then?
Okay, cool. So this is a Grüner Veltliner, which is an Austrian wine, an Austrian white wine. This wine is actually from the Esterházy family vineyard. So the Esterházy family are like royalty in Austria. And these guys have these kind of very traditional vineyards. And this is a kind of oil painting from kind of traditional Austria. In fact, it even features the Esterházy family palace.
Wow.
What's quite cool about this wine actually is that the guy who makes it, a guy called Rob, he's from South Africa. And he's a kind of he's super cool. Like he, loves rock music. He is quite sort of eccentric. He brings with him a whole load of like new winemaking techniques and styles, and he's a bit sort of rebellious, if you like. So if you buy this wine from our website, you also get a load of stickers, which are all kind of like South African flags and animals and balloons and things, fancy dress for the people and the design, to kind of try and communicate. I mentioned, it's about storytelling, to try and communicate the idea of this very traditional winery where this kind of rebel winemaker came and did something a bit different.
WTF is Retail, presented by Excellent Zephyr.